Darwin's Arch, a famous rock formation off the Galapagos Islands, has collapsed due to erosion.
Now, a plaque has been unveiled in Iceland to remember the first of its 400 glaciers to be lost to climate change.
In just 5 years, Earth has lost some of its most breathtaking, untouchable treasures. From ancient glaciers to coral cathedrals, nature's masterpieces are vanishing under our watch. What if these aren't random acts of climate or time, but signs of something larger? What secrets died with these wonders? And what warnings lie in the ruins? These aren't just losses, they're messages. This is the story of nature's most recent vanishing miracles. The collapse of Darwin's Arch. On May 17th, 2021, a dramatic rumble echoed across the Pacific. Off the coast of the Galapagos Islands, Darwin's Arch, a majestic natural bridge carved by the sea over millennia, crumbled into the waves. Official reports blamed erosion, the slow decay of limestone under constant stress. But eyewitnesses claim there was no storm, no warning, just a sudden implosion. Satellite data shows increased maritime activity near the Arch weeks prior. Could deep-sea mining or unauthorized sonar testing have destabilized its fragile base? Divers report unusual vibrations in the surrounding waters leading up to the event. And curiously, no comprehensive geological assessment was conducted afterward. Was it truly a natural collapse, or something orchestrated beneath the waves? The Arch, once a symbol of Darwinian evolution, now lies in ruins. Nature's power or man's interference. The vanishing untouchable glacier. In Iceland, a glacier was lost, not over centuries, but within a single human lifetime. Untouchable, once a mighty ice cap atop a shield volcano, officially died in 2014.
It used to cover 15 square kilometers of mountainside. Now it is barely 1 square kilometer and less than 15 meters deep.
By 2019, scientists held a funeral. A plaque reads, "A letter to the future." This monument is to acknowledge that we know what is happening. It wasn't war or explosion that ended untouchable, it was temperature. A relentless rise that turned ancient ice into runoff. For millennia, it had weathered storms, eruptions, even mini ice ages. But modern climate change proved too fast, too unforgiving. The glacier, once spanning 6 square miles, is now a rocky wasteland. Could it have been saved? Satellites reveal hundreds of similar glaciers across the Arctic now on the brink. Some suggest industrial pollution isn't the only factor, that shifts in Earth's magnetic field may be accelerating melt cycles. Is this purely man-made, or something deeper in Earth's rhythms? Australia's lost ancient forests. The flames came fast, hotter and higher than ever recorded. Between late 2019 and early 2020, over 46 million acres of Australian wilderness burned. But this wasn't just another fire season. It marked the devastation of the Gondwana rainforests, one of Earth's oldest living ecosystems, harboring species that date back 180 million years. These weren't ordinary trees. They were evolutionary relics, survivors of continental drift and the dinosaurs. Now charred stumps are all that remain. Botanists found entire species of plants and fungi erased in days. Was it climate change alone? Some speculate a breakdown in atmospheric circulation patterns triggered the firestorms, patterns altered by geoengineering or shifts in the solar minimum. Could invisible changes in Earth's electromagnetic environment be weakening jet streams and rain systems? Few dare to ask. What's clear is this: the Gondwana legacy, protected for generations, slipped through our fingers while satellites merely watched. The collapse of the Azure Window. The Azure Window of Malta was no ordinary rock formation. It was a cinematic marvel, an ancient arch carved by sea and time. Tourists flocked to walk across its breathtaking span until March 8, 2017, when without warning, it collapsed into the Mediterranean. Official reports cited heavy storms, but amateur videos show minimal wave activity at the moment of collapse. Could vibration from years of foot traffic have hastened the end, or was it deeper? Some geologists point to a pattern of accelerated coastal collapses worldwide, hinting at global subterranean shifts, possibly tied to glacial rebound or even fracking activity miles away. The Azure Window featured in films and postcards, but few knew its base had been eroding silently for decades. Locals now wonder, were we warned? Some say minor quakes preceded the fall. Whatever the truth, the arch is gone, leaving only conspiracy, memory, and a hollow in the sea. The disappearance of the Aral Sea. Once a thriving inland sea spanning 26,000 square miles, the Aral Sea is now a graveyard of sand and salt. But while its decline began decades ago, the final phase occurred between 2018 and 2022, when its last water bodies rapidly vanished. Soviet irrigation projects rerouted rivers that once fed it, but satellite images from the past 5 years show an eerie acceleration. Could increased evaporation from global warming alone explain this? Or did deeper hydrological manipulations play a role? Perhaps secret diversion channels to power new mining ventures or military testing zones. Winds now whip through the seabed, lifting toxic dust laced with pesticides from the ghost of agriculture past. The fishing villages are gone. Ships lie marooned in sand dunes. Scientists call it one of the worst man-made environmental disasters, but many wonder if it was also by design. Peru's collapsing glacial lagoons. In the high Andes of Peru, a ticking time bomb is forming, hidden in plain sight. As glaciers melt at unprecedented speeds, they leave behind unstable, newly formed lakes. These glacial lagoons, held back by loose rock and debris, swell dangerously each year. Lake Palcacocha is the most infamous. In 2020, it reached record levels, threatening a catastrophic outburst flood that could obliterate the city of Huaraz below. Emergency siphons were installed, but experts say they're a temporary fix. The underlying threat remains: warming temperatures and increasingly frequent seismic activity. Some locals claim they've seen strange tremors, unexplained rumbles, days before lake surges. Are these geological coincidences or signs of something bigger stirring beneath the Andes? Ancient Incan legends speak of sleeping water serpents trapped in the mountains. Today, the danger is scientific, not mythological, but no less terrifying. If even one of these dams fails, thousands could die in minutes. The Great Barrier Reef's bleaching catastrophe. Beneath the turquoise waves of Australia's northeast coast, the largest living structure on Earth is dying. The Great Barrier Reef has suffered 5 mass bleaching events since 2016. But between 2020 and 2022, the damage reached unprecedented levels. Heat waves cooked the ocean's surface. Once vibrant coral cities turned ghostly white, then blackened, dead. Scientists tried cloud seeding to shade the reefs, but the efforts were too late. Skeptics claim the destruction is overstated. Yet aerial surveys reveal reef systems completely wiped out. Some researchers believe deep-sea mining and military sonar may also contribute to coral stress. Could electromagnetic disruptions be scrambling marine ecosystems in ways we don't yet comprehend? The reef, once visible from space, is now a scar of silence beneath the sea. Billions of marine creatures depended on it. So did millions of humans. And now, it's vanishing, reef by reef, breath by breath. The collapse of Antarctica's Conger ice shelf. In March 2022, a seemingly invincible slab of ancient ice shattered apart in Antarctica, without warning. The Conger ice shelf, which had stood firm for centuries in East Antarctica, a region once thought to be stable, disintegrated in just days. The event shocked the scientific community. East Antarctica was supposed to be immune from rapid climate effects, but new satellite imagery showed fractures spiderwebbing weeks before the collapse. Was this simply global warming's reach expanding, or a trigger event from unseen forces? A sudden cyclone in the region stirred theories. Others wonder about geothermal pulses rising from deep beneath the ice, possibly linked to tectonic hotspots no one's mapped. Whatever the cause, Conger's fall released billions of tons of ice into the sea. If other shelves follow, sea levels could surge dramatically. The Antarctic is waking up, and we may not be ready for what it has to say. The lost salt domes of Louisiana. Deep beneath Louisiana's surface lies a fragile underworld. Salt domes, massive subterranean deposits formed over millions of years. For decades, industries have drilled into these domes to extract brine and store volatile chemicals. In 2022, one such dome near Bayou Corn collapsed. Again. The first collapse in 2012 swallowed acres of forest and forced mass evacuations. But the more recent event drew less media attention, despite ominous seismic data beforehand. Residents reported low-frequency hums and ground tremors in the days leading up to the incident. Some believe nearby drilling reawakened dormant fault lines. Others suspect these domes are weakening due to widespread fracking in adjacent regions. What's known is this: these underground caverns are increasingly unstable. One miscalculation could lead to a domino collapse stretching across the Gulf region. Yet new permits are still being granted. How many more of these sleeping giants are ticking beneath neighborhoods, pipelines, even highways? Indonesia's disappearing sand islands. Off the coast of Indonesia, entire islands are vanishing, literally erased from maps. Between 2018 and 2023, at least 4 sandbar islands in the Riau archipelago disappeared beneath the sea. The culprit isn't climate change, it's sand mining. Massive dredging ships suck up the sea floor, shipping billions of tons of sand to fuel the construction boom in cities like Singapore. What's left behind are destabilized coastlines and crumbling islands. Satellite images reveal ghostly outlines where villages once stood. But this isn't just an ecological tragedy, it's geopolitical. Indonesia accuses foreign companies of illegal mining in disputed waters. Local fishermen report being driven away by armed guards. Some speculate that military interests are involved, using sand removal to manipulate maritime boundaries. Could erasing an island shift territorial claims? In a world where land is power and sand is gold, what else might be quietly dissolved beneath the waves? Ethiopia's crack in the earth. In the Afar region of Ethiopia, the earth is splitting open. A 35-mile-long rift is tearing across the desert, widening year by year. What began as a series of small fractures in 2005 has accelerated rapidly, especially between 2018 and 2023. Geologists now say this could be the birth of a new ocean, as the African continent slowly divides. But slow may not be the right word anymore. Satellite data shows movement happening 10 times faster than expected. Some scientists blame tectonic hotspots. Others whisper about unusual magnetic anomalies deep beneath the crust. Locals speak of the ground groaning at night, unsettling noises with no seismic source. Could this be a naturally timed shift in Earth's crust, or has human activity triggered something ancient and uncontrollable? Oil drilling, geothermal tapping, or even nuclear tests from distant regions might be playing roles we don't yet understand. What's clear is this: a new sea may be forming in real time, and no one knows how fast it's coming. The draining of Lake Pupo. In Bolivia, one of South America's largest lakes has all but vanished. Lake Pupo, once covering over 1,200 square miles, dried up completely in 2016. But between 2018 and 2022, the lake made brief attempts to recover, only to vanish again. What's happening isn't just climate-driven drought. It's the result of upstream water diversions for mining and agriculture, some of which operate under secretive contracts with international companies. Local communities, mostly indigenous Urumarato people, have been displaced. Dead fish litter cracked salt plains. The Bolivian government blames climate change, but hydrologists argue the lake's ecosystem was sabotaged. Was the disappearance of Lake Pupo preventable, or did hidden economic interests quietly trade a natural wonder for short-term profit? Some believe the lake was sacrificed in favor of lithium mining, a growing global demand. The saddest irony? The lake was once declared a national treasure. Now its disappearance barely registers beyond satellite photos. The silent death of Taal Lake's volcano island. In January 2020, Taal volcano in the Philippines erupted violently, blanketing its island with ash and ejecting steam thousands of feet into the air. But the real story came afterward. Taal Volcano Island, once home to rare wildlife and unique geothermal ecosystems within Taal Lake, was rendered lifeless almost overnight. Government agencies declared it a permanent no man's land. What they didn't mention: seismic readings began fluctuating months before the eruption, and radar scans detected strange bulges forming beneath the lakebed. Was the explosion purely volcanic, or the result of deeper interference? Some suggest underground geothermal exploration had quietly resumed in the area. Others question if rising magma is connected to a global pattern of mid-plate volcanic awakening. The island now sits scorched, its flora and fauna eradicated, its once lush trails reduced to a smoldering wasteland. Was it a natural reset, or something we provoked? The disintegration of the Florida mangroves. From 2019 to 2023, more than 90,000 acres of Florida's protective mangrove forests disappeared, either from rising seas, real estate development, or saltwater intrusion. But some areas died mysteriously. In Everglades National Park, entire tracts of mangroves turned gray within weeks. The cause? Officially, storm surge and salinity spikes, but ecologists noticed something strange: chemical residues in the roots, possibly from nearby agricultural runoff or unregulated pesticides. Could these toxins be part of an environmental assault, or just collateral damage from the surrounding sugarcane industry? These mangroves weren't just trees, they were hurricane buffers, oxygen producers, and nurseries for fish species. Now, real estate companies eye the cleared areas for waterfront development. Are we watching an ecological collapse, or a quiet land grab? Some drone footage even shows suspicious dredging activity in recently dead zones. Coincidence or coordination? The vanishing fairy circles of Namibia. For decades, the Namib Desert has been marked by strange, evenly spaced, barren circles in the grasslands, known as fairy circles. These formations stretch across hundreds of miles and have baffled scientists for years. But something changed between 2020 and 2023. Many of these circles began disappearing. Satellite imagery shows the patterns fading rapidly as vegetation reclaims the strange, symmetrical patches. Some hail this as proof of climate recovery, but others aren't convinced. Researchers have noticed alterations in soil composition and magnetic field readings in these regions. Were these circles more than natural curiosities? One fringe theory suggests they were ancient biosignatures, possibly indicators of underground water systems or even pre-human activity. Indigenous Himba legends speak of spirits or starfires shaping the land. Are we losing a natural anomaly or a coded message written into Earth's crust? The fairy circles, once cryptic and mesmerizing, are now fading before we ever truly understood what they were. The disappearance of Lake Aculeo. Once a glittering freshwater lake near Santiago, Chile, Lake Aculeo vanished between 2010 and 2018, but its final death throes occurred more recently, between 2019 and 2022, as nearby wells and groundwater also dried up. Official narratives point to drought, climate change, and overuse. But dig deeper and darker theories emerge. Corporate agricultural projects reportedly siphoned water at rates exceeding legal limits, yet few fines were ever issued. Locals allege backroom deals and altered satellite data. The lake, once a tourist haven and spiritual retreat, became a cracked basin of dust and resentment. Strangely, studies also showed changes in atmospheric moisture patterns over the lake just before its total evaporation. Was it coincidence or weather manipulation? Theories of regional geoengineering efforts have circulated for years in South America. Now, with Aculeo gone and aquifers following, one must ask, was this a natural disaster or the test site for something else entirely? The collapse of the Red Sea coral towers. Off the coasts of Egypt, Sudan, and Eritrea lies one of Earth's most resilient reef systems, coral towers that have survived for centuries in the Red Sea's warm, salty waters. But in 2021, and again in 2023, divers reported something shocking. Entire coral pillars had collapsed. Unlike typical bleaching, these weren't gradual deaths. They were structural failures. Marine biologists initially suspected rising sea temperatures, but the Red Sea's corals had withstood warming that devastated reefs elsewhere. Then came reports of increased naval sonar testing and seismic exploration in the region. Could deep-sea vibrations be destabilizing these ecosystems? Some believe the reefs are being damaged by oil prospecting done under secretive multinational permits. Local fishermen whisper of glowing water and unusual fish die-offs before each collapse. The Red Sea's coral towers, once thought indestructible, are crumbling in silence, and no one's sounding the alarm. The disappearance of Mount Kumgang's crystal pools. In North Korea, Mount Kumgang has long been shrouded in mystery. Known for its crystal-clear mountain pools, cascading waterfalls, and near-mythical beauty, the region was once a symbol of peace and unity during brief moments of Korean détente. But satellite photos from 2020 to 2022 show an unsettling transformation. Many of the region's famous alpine pools have dried up, their sources diverted or disappeared. Tourists are banned, and the area has been heavily militarized. Could secret construction, underground testing, or hydrological manipulation be responsible? Analysts believe water has been redirected for military installations or to power covert facilities. Others suggest the region may be undergoing environmental collapse due to unchecked mining. Whatever the truth, the once luminous blue pools now appear grey, cracked, and empty. Stories from defectors claim entire waterfalls have been rerouted to hide entrances to underground bunkers. Is nature simply retreating or being forcibly erased? Greenland's melting ice canyons. Beneath Greenland's ice sheet lies a labyrinth of canyons, some deeper than the Grand Canyon itself. For decades, they were frozen in place, locked beneath miles of glacial cover. But between 2020 and 2023, satellite data revealed something disturbing. Massive under-ice rivers forming and growing, carving out pathways with explosive speed. Scientists blame rising temperatures and surface melt. But a few researchers noticed oddities. Heat signatures rising not from above, but from below. Could geothermal hotspots, long dormant, be awakening beneath Greenland's crust? Or worse, could human-triggered seismic exploration be fracturing the ice from within? The canyons, once untouched, are now conduits for rapid ice loss, funneling meltwater straight into the Atlantic. One stretch known as the Greenland Grand Canyon has widened by nearly 15% in just 3 years. If these hidden chasms fully open, sea levels could surge far faster than current models predict. Has the countdown already begun? The vanishing bioluminescent bays of Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico's bioluminescent bays, Mosquito Bay, Laguna Grande, and La Parguera, once glowed with unearthly light thanks to microscopic dinoflagellates reacting to movement in the water. Tourists called it magic. Scientists called it a delicate balance of salinity, temperature, and darkness. But since 2019, that glow has dimmed. In some places, it has vanished entirely. Hurricane Maria's disruption was only the beginning. Development along shorelines, light pollution, and chemical runoff began altering the waters. Yet, some marine biologists whisper of deeper anomalies, shifts in magnetic field strength, unnatural fluorescence cycles, and species never before catalogued. Locals report periods when the bay turns murky, lifeless, then oddly oversaturated with unnatural blue hues. Could sonar, underwater cables, or even military testing be disrupting marine circadian rhythms? Or is nature simply breaking under pressure? The glow that once enchanted generations may soon vanish completely, and we still don't know why. In just 5 years, Earth has lost what once seemed immovable. Arches, glaciers, coral kingdoms, living lights erased from the world and, in some cases, from memory. Was it climate, greed, something deeper, ancient cycles, or undisclosed experiments? One truth remains: the map of wonder is shrinking. And for every headline that reaches us, dozens of losses occur silently, invisibly. We've crossed a threshold. If these wonders can vanish so quickly, what does that say about our place in nature's design? Or someone else's? Look closer, ask more, wonder louder, because the Earth is speaking, and parts of it are going silent.